You're listening to REI Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out REIRadio.com. Welcome to REI Radio. This is episode 219 of the Real Estate Rundown with Owen
and Ted Kosh.
Hey, buddy.
What's up?
Are you 60 in his face yet?
Are you? It has been a lot of Ted in my life lately. Just getting back, coming in hot from the REI Summit this week, and you got plowed right into an Omaha REIA event.
I feel like
very next day.
Good words, because I feel like I've been plowed all week.
Okay. This is a PG show, but whatever.
The old-fashioned train
avalanche
was nonstop. It's like between you and Colin, you guys are ordering them nonstop, and then everybody else that you're ordering from is like, oh well, I got to throw my rounds in. And it
was too much.
It was like 25 to 30 old fashions per person over 3 days.
Yeah, it was a lot. My liver is definitely calling time out.
Yeah, I'm sure your bank account was also wondering what the hell is going on.
Oh man, yeah, I had a substantial room charge tab from the lobby bar.
What was your bar tab for the week?
It was $1,758.
Just bar tab.
Just the bar tab.
Holy moly.
Yeah, no food, none of that. It was
no. Colin got that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, oh man,
only person that I see get a tomahawk to go.
That was a very pivotal night or pivotal moment in the night for me, getting food in my belly.
You were like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then it was like the most amazing tasting steak. Maybe because we were drunk, but it was so good.
I tried to escape and nobody let me. They just drugged me back and threw a steak in my mouth. I rallied. So
we're there.
It was fun though. That was a fun trip. And the most interesting part of it is, it's funny being involved in meetups and that kind of thing. And we've gotten to know, obviously, through the podcast, a lot of really cool local investors, from Omaha and Lincoln and the surrounding area. And whenever we go to these things, it seems like we end up hanging out with people that we already know, but we get to know them a lot better.
Yeah.
That is one cool thing.
There's also a lot of people that we've seen at every single meetup for 4 or 5 years in a row.
For sure.
And we've interviewed them on the podcast.
Uh-huh.
And they're the ones that are like waving and saying hi. And
yeah, and it's funny when you're walking down like through a crowded like corridor or whatever, and somebody's caught up in a conversation, so you don't want to bother them. Then they see you and they're like, "Hey," they point you out. Yeah,
hey,
that was fun.
We just got there and we were on the side. Like, I don't even think we had our bags checked yet, and we were like, we went in the lobby, and then here's Brandon and Megan, and we're not gonna rush over and bother them. They're
yeah.
But then Brandon's like, "Hey guys,"
yeah,
and then
that was cool.
He came over, and it made us feel a little special.
Yeah,
what was your most memorable moment?
Let's see. You want me to tell the story?
Yes, because that's where my head is.
Okay, so Ted and I, it's probably, I don't know, like what, 8:30, something like that.
We were hungry.
Yeah, we were getting to the point of being hangry.
They closed at 9.
Okay, so it's like 8:30, something like that, and I think we're standing around talking to Alex Felice, and I was like, dude, you live here. Where can we go eat that's like not a crazy far away place? And he's like, oh, what do you feel like? And I think we arrived at pizza was kind of the cure for whatever. And he's like, oh man, you got to go to I can't remember, it was like Peroni's or something like that. Yes. I have the name. I took a picture of the sign. And so we ride this rickshaw there. So a bike with a carriage behind it, what a rickshaw is.
And that guy stunk so bad.
He did? I didn't know.
Are you kidding? Like, his downwind was like... I was gagging.
So I have a video of our rickshaw ride, but it's me and Ted. And what was the first thing he said to it? Or like one of the first things he said?
Well, like, yeah, we're like heading, and then there's like a nightclub right to the right, and he's like, well, after you guys eat, I would go there, and he was assuming that you and I were. Like,
it was a gay bar.
It was a gay bar.
Yeah, he's like, well, I can drop you there on the way back. And we're like, what? Dude, no, we're not together. Like, we're just going to get something to eat. A couple of bros. Anyway, so that was really funny.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah, that was really funny. But when we get to the pizza place, so picture this. So it's one of those nice, like, wood-fired pizza joints that has, like, the nice, the crust. It was really good. And there's a whole bunch of people in there and, like, I don't know, 10 or 12 workers or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're in line and you order from the counter and Ted goes shows up and he's like, oh, what should we get? And he's like super hungry. And he's like, let's get the large thing. I go, dude, we're going to be miserable after that. Like, let's just get something small, tide us over.
We should have gone the medium.
Yeah, but so anyway, so we get this like pizza, and he's like, yeah, we'll get a whatever, meat lovers or whatever it was. And at this point, I don't care. I'll eat anything. But so he orders this, right? And the lady at the counter, she's taking his order, and he goes, and can I just right at the end, he's like, can I get a side of ranch with that too? And she stops, and she goes, did she ring the bell right away? Yes. The super super loud bell. It was almost like a gong goes off, and everybody in the entire place stops and looks at us, including all the workers. And she's like, I may butcher this part, but what she goes, this is an authentic Italian restaurant, sir. We do not serve ranch. And then everybody's just like clapping.
No, they all say ranch.
Yeah, ranch. It was, oh my God. I wish I had that on video. It was one of the funniest moments I've ever had in a restaurant. Like, I was dying laughing.
And what, besides this bell going off, everybody, like, if they have a spoon in their hand or anything, they're banging it.
It was quite the ruckus.
Yes.
But I am almost falling down. I'm laughing so hard. Like, it was that funny. And Ted was just bright red. Oh yeah. It was, oh my God. It was perfect.
I was like, what is going on here?
I almost felt like Alex Felice planned that ahead of time just because, he knows us.
Did you tell him?
I don't think I ever did, because we didn't catch up with them after that. We talked to them for a while, but like, I'll have to tell them that story. But like, oh my God, that was so funny.
It made for.
So that was the most memorable moment for me. I was
thinking the guy thinking we're a couple.
Oh man, yeah, we're gonna drop you off this gay bar next, and we're like, what? No, dude. Oh man, good times.
Aiden's looking at us like, what the heck?
Yeah, but no, that was it was we had a ton of fun. It was just a ton of conversations.
Colin's breakout session,
it was really good.
Was the best breakout session of the whole entire event. Because I feel like everything was very surface level, but Colin's group, they're all part of the Brandon's 50.
Yeah, so it was Brandon moderated it, and then it was, I think, Colin, Trey Stone, who else was on that?
I think the comment came out that there was
Michael Ketchen,
$3.5 billion of
real estate holdings
on that stage. Right there.
Just crazy, like, successful crew they had on stage, and they really did a good job about digging into some nice, like, mindset and tactical stuff and strategic and all that. It was really good. Yeah, I would say that for sure was the best one I went to also.
And then Thatch did a great job.
Win.
Yep. I really enjoyed his. And then Dave Osborne, I've never seen him speak before. I didn't know he was doing all that he was doing. I got some out of that too. Were you at the opening event when Brandon started the event?
Yeah. I didn't catch all of it, but I was there.
He made, because it's a faith-based organization.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about preacher Brandon.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's up there witnessing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've never seen that side of him like that. And it was really kind of cool.
Oh, when he told the story about Moses.
And the whole thing was a Bible study.
Yeah.
Like, he related it, to real estate investing all the way through. I've never seen it like that.
Yeah.
That part was really impactful too.
Yeah. Now, talk about your meetup this week, though, the Omaha REIA one. You were.
Yeah. Well, we had
and I missed it just because I'm recovering still.
Well, we had Byron Thompson speak. And first off, I'm pretty hazy going into this event.
Yeah.
And I'm reading my normal thing that I do. And at one point I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I look around and I just see everybody's faces. Like, I had a moment and I'm like, whoa, guys, I am so sorry. I go, I'm doing a terrible job. I go, Owen forced almost 30 old fashions.
You probably did say that.
And I go, I just want to apologize to you guys. I am not bringing any excitement to this right now. And then I started over and I'm like, and then I put some inflection in my voice. And then I was like, thank goodness I felt a little bit better, and did the introduction. Byron comes on. First off, it took me like a month to get him to say yes to come on. I'm like, and I knew that he had it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then probably one of the best actual speakers presentations. Like, the content was good, but it was the way he did it.
His delivery.
It was honestly like, Thatch was probably the closest thing I've seen this week compared to his presentation skills. And he's like, never gets on stage unless it's in front of his real estate company. And I'm like, dude, you have $1 million ability right here. Like, this guy is not going to be doing real estate in a year just because after what I saw.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I wish I'm bummed I missed it, but I'll definitely watch the recording.
Yeah, it's on our REI Radio YouTube channel, which you can watch every YouTube video that we've done in the last 2 years for the podcast too.
5-star review.
But so we have that on. It's on the live section. But man, he just murdered it. And then afterwards, I mean, everybody's like, Hal's like, God told me to be here. And it was to see you speak. And he's like, that was life changing. And it was all about burnout. And, what was this? It was the 7 stages of burnout and how, as an entrepreneur, how you can get past it. And
I'm really bummed I missed that.
And he related all the stages of burnout to points in his life and how he got through it.
Interesting.
It was really, really good.
So Byron Thompson, so check that out on our website, REIRadio.com or OmahaREIA.com, and you'll find it, I'm sure. But he evidently killed it.
He did kill it. Yeah. I'm leaving for vacation Monday. And I didn't. I
heard this was long planned.
It is
for someone.
It is long planned.
That's going.
And I thought I had another week, to be honest with you. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, my wife was gone for a week, and then I went on did a 3-day camping trip with the kids. Was somehow able to get real estate done in between there. Had a real estate meetup. My daughter's gone out of camp all this week, so I haven't seen her for a long time now, besides on the phone. And then we leave Monday for Colorado, and I'm just like, oh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what the most nerve-wracking thing is, though, is I have taken over all of my own Airbnb property management.
Yeah, we all know, Ted. And we all see it. Every 5 seconds you're checking your watch. Oh, hang on a second. I got to get this.
And
Airbnb.
It is very nerve-wracking because I'm very on call. And now I'm like having to like reach out to people. Hey, can you be my person? Like I've called either Chris. At one point, I even offered him a free place to stay for a week while I was out of town last time. Or I have reached out to tenants that are like staying like on a longer term.
Oh, geez.
And like, hey, if this happens, can I call you? I'll bring you a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of tequila or something like that. And so I've been having to like hand off some gifts as thank yous for help.
Jeez.
And it's rough. The travel side of it is a whole nother level of stress when it comes to that.
I don't know how Mary Sue appreciates Sarah Weaver even more, right?
Yeah.
With how she operates her life.
Yeah. She has Airbnbs a lot in the areas where her parents can go and travel to them too.
Which is smart.
Yeah. But that part has been an eye-opening lesson. Another reason why I'm kind of excited about getting rid of some of these.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of eye-opening lessons, I had something I was going to bring up today, if that's cool. Since you weren't
it's not cool.
You weren't at my meetup either, so we got a little quid pro quo here. But so I had my Caffeine and Cap Rates coffee meetup at Sozo Coffee, like every Thursday at 10 o'clock. And I had a question. So I usually kick it off with an icebreaker question. And so my icebreaker question yesterday was, if you had to make $250,000 in income and $1 million of increased net worth, and you had 1 year to do it, or you would die. That's the whole thing.
Would die.
What is your plan? And there were I'm going to guess like probably low 20s. We probably had 22, 23 people there. It was big group for that.
That's like
room.
your best ever.
Yeah. So we had a bunch of tables filled with people and some new people, and it was good. But that took, honestly, probably an hour to go all the way around the room, but it was super, super interesting to see how everybody's mind worked. And where I'm going with this whole thing is kind of tying me to today's Golden Nugget. So this, again, was just a little bit of a thought experiment and, kind of an icebreaker for a group setting. But it really did start making me think because I was documenting what people were saying underneath.
Hopefully you applaud on the whole time.
I did not. I don't have that tech yet. But the way that people's minds started working on that problem and looking at what they probably would normally do, but with an added sense of extreme urgency, was really, really interesting. Because you have to really think about that. Like if you knew you didn't execute on making everything possible on your financial goal sheet, that you were going to die, I guarantee you would do things a lot differently than you actually are. Mm-hmm. So that made me start thinking about, we get bombarded with all these like little, isms from people that have great quotes and sound bites. And there's like, you will always fall to the level of your training or your systems. And, there's stuff like that out there. But it made me start thinking about motivation versus discipline. And when you're really motivated, you can do like a whole bunch of stuff in a short amount of time. But your motivation is going to burn out. Like you cannot stay motivated 24/7, 365. You can't do it. But it made me really start thinking about increasing your discipline. So your habits, your practices to match your spikes of motivation. So what did you do during this time where you were actually able to generate, well, in this example, it was $250K a year and $1 million net worth. You did that what were you doing that you're not doing now? And elevating your discipline level to mimic the processes when you are highly motivated. I don't know that I'm sure I didn't make that up, but I don't really think I've ever heard it put that way. And it really started making me think about that. Like the times I've been super motivated and just knocked out a whole bunch of crap on my list, just bang, 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 bang. And
like right before vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, but what happens after that? You just fall to the level of whatever you're disciplined in. And, of course you can make an analogy to working out or, being a good, not just in financial, but there's all aspects of life you can apply this to. But yeah, the times when you're really kicking ass and taking names, and then other times you're just like, yeah, I was kind of a POS in that 3-week period. Why? Because you weren't doing those things.
Burnout.
Yes. Yeah. So it's burnout. But I just made me really start thinking about motivation versus discipline. And then why can't you match those up to be a little more, so there's not such a gap between your performance. So deep thoughts today, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, it probably has a role in what you put in your body. If you drank a whole bunch that week, you're going to be less motivated.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Depending on what's going on with your kids. If your kids are screwed up at school and you're getting those, I mean, it's a mix between what you put in your body, what you put in your mind.
Yeah, and we had a guest that's coming up on this Wednesday's episode, Andy Schock from Lincoln, who ironically none of us had met, and he's been operating at a really high level in the flipping and burr type of a strategy in the Lincoln and Omaha markets, and he's from Lincoln, and we met him at REI Summit, and he was talking about a lot of things around avoiding burnout, changing your mindset, going from not doing everything yourself but learning how to leverage other people, freeing up your time. And he's built a really cool life around how he's designed it, right? And been able to take his kids to school, pick them up, and all that stuff. I really liked that conversation because it just shows that you can really make something cool out of your life if you don't react to everything. If you take an actual proactive approach to it. And Tarl Yarber said the same thing in last week's episode, where he basically sat down with his wife and he's like, if things don't change, we're going to get divorced. Pretty much.
Well, I mean, the fact that he says, I have 13 flips going right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 more under contract, so you might have 16 flips going at the same time.
Yep.
But his kids think he's a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, because they see him when he drops them off, and they see him when he picks them up. And
yeah, that he is
what
intentional.
do you do all day, Dad?
He was intentional about that.
Yeah, and he has young kids, so that's going to instill some, I guess, feelings of safety and reliability in them from a very, very early age. Because you've talked before about times when you've had heavy travel and you've been gone for weeks at a time. And when you have young kids, they don't know what you're doing. They just know you're not there. And then you have guilt and everything else layered on top of that. And a lot of times your perception of what needs to be done in order to have a kick-ass life does not always match up with your spouse either. So kind of like level setting that and having regular conversations about what are we actually doing this for? And what is everything involved here? How can we change things to make our lives better and not chase every single dollar just because we can?
It reminds me when Tarl mentioned that when I was screwing in that light bulb, I felt like a failure. And that impacted you.
Yeah.
But then here we are, doing this interview, and that same comment came up. Like, hey, I could be putting up, this fire detector right now, but that's not training my brain to be who I need to be. I mean, it's funny how certain things start getting repeated.
Yep.
Over and over again.
Yeah. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, literally, if there's no fire detector. But yeah, you get the point. So on that, yeah, it's really just a question of mindset, motivation, discipline, and how you can all make it work with a family and a busy business. And I just find those conversations just endlessly fascinating.
Yeah.
It
was a good week.
It was a good week.
And there's a lot of content this week. I mean, technically, there was 3 events that were going on this week that we were partaking in.
Right. Yeah. And I am excited too, because, we met some really, really cool people there too that we want to invite on the show. So you'll see probably over the upcoming weeks, we're going to have some probably new names that you've never heard of, but they're just, kicking butt in different markets and have different approaches. So this is going to be really good for the podcast too. It's all for you guys, listeners.
I'll be honest with you. The whole reason that I wanted to go was just
collecting names,
yeah. Instagram profiles,
kicking ass and taking names
for people I'm going to reach out to and say, hey, let's get this scheduled.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to a non-activity filled weekend and relaxing and taking care of some stuff at home. How about you? You prepping for your trip?
Oh my gosh! We have so many activities. We have so much prep work to do for this trip. It's gonna be ridiculous. And actually, we'll be in your neighborhood because one of your neighbors, Tommy, is celebrating his son Mason being cancer free.
Oh, cool!
So we're gonna go to that party on Sunday. And so maybe
I'll see you there.
Maybe I'll see you there. Yeah.
The thing about, like living in Nebraska or Iowa or the Midwest area, it's like you pretty much pack a year's worth of activities into about 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Because, everybody just holes up during the, 8 months of crappy weather that we have here.
Especially when your wife's a teacher and she gets summers off.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We got to do all the stuff right now.
Yep. Yep.
Pack a bag.
Yep. She literally packs the whole schedule from day to day, like before summer even starts.
Yeah. It's all planned out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
All right. Well, speaking of non-activity filled weekends, let's get you guys out of here. Thanks for listening to the show. Teddy Ball Game.
Yeah, stay tuned for episode on Wednesday. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And if you want to be on the podcast, or if you know somebody to be good on a podcast, we did put a application on there for right now. It's on my personal website. Go to tedkosh.com and fill out an application to join our podcast, and we'll take a look at that, and we'll be in touch.
Love it. We always appreciate strong referrals to some ballers out there that are kicking butt in the real estate world. So thanks, listeners.
Cool. And if you love the content, please share it with somebody that will get something out of this, and leave us a 5-star review. Boom. And with that, Owen Dashner, we see us out.
On behalf of REI Radio, Aiden Bear, and Ted Kosh, I'm Owen Dashner, and you've been listening to the Real Estate Rundown. Signing off.